So I'm sure you have seen a couple of clips from Escape from Tarkov, and most players there use guns that look like this. Amazing big guns with big magazines, high RPM and little recoil. But in the beginning the guns look more like this. But don't worry, each wipe we all are in the same boat and have to start from scratch. So today we'll take a look at what weapons are actually viable from, well, the bunch that we have at Trace level 1. What ammunition to use, how you can mod them if you can, because I know a lot of you don't like to play with Iron Sight. So that in the end you can decide for yourself which gun suits your playstyle the best. First off, we're gonna ignore all the pistols, because the RPM is horrible, the recoil is horrible, and the bullets are even more horrible. Horrible. Anyway, no pistols in this guide. Then at the start, there is no really effective way to find the bullets you need. You really have to hover over the bullet with the mouse to see the name. That's just the way it is, just so you know. So then let's start with Prapor. Prapor has the SKS, for example, a semi-automatic rifle that uses the PS ammo with a penetration of 32, meaning it can penetrate level 3 armor, which is pretty good at the beginning, and it costs only 20,000. Now the SKS is a pretty straightforward rifle. You have 10 shots in a magazine. Just be aware that the recoil is pretty heavy. So we start out at the car and lands, well, over there. Just something to be aware of. You can also reload your gun from the pockets. So you don't need a rig for it, which is pretty cool if you want to use budget builds or really save a lot of rubles on rigs. Just be aware it takes a bit longer than just a quick mag reload. Also in gunfights, I really recommend that you don't stay in the open with the SKS because you can't do the classic suppression fire. You really have to stay near corners, peek shoot, peek shoot, peek shoot, rinse and repeat. And in close quarters, it's probably best to just hip fire and spray and pray. So that's the SKS. As I said, pretty straightforward rifle, and I think a decent choice at the beginning. Next we have the AKS-74U. Now this gun can use the PS bullet, which have only 25 penetration, which means you already struggle with level 3 armor, which is pretty bad, but therefore you get full automatic. Just be aware the sight is pretty horrible, can't see much through it, and also the recoil on this baby is pretty heavy. But of course, on the other hand, with full automatic you just need to land one bullet to the head, then pick the gun of whoever you killed and then kill his body with his own gun. I'm sure those two guys really bonded after the match. But as you can see, this is how fast you can go from an AKS to a damn good gear. So this is the AKS. Horrible recoil, not a lot penetration, but therefore full auto. Then we have the PPSH and just don't use it. The horrible recoil, the bullets don't do anything and it's not for range. Then we have the AKM, which you can buy, you have to trade it for free to Shonkas. If you find them, why not? The cool thing about this gun, it also uses PS bullets, but 7.62, which have more penetration, and you can also mod the gun. First, you can replace the dust cover by a bastion. You can also replace the handguard for the AK Polymer series. On top of the dust cover, you can place a sight, whatever you want, for example the Cobra. And if you buy the Cobra, also buy the shade cover, it gives some more ergonomics, which means higher ADS times. And on the foregrip that we buy just a few seconds ago, you can place a grip, but grips are pretty expensive, so that's probably not worth it. But a laser pointer on the other hand is really worth it, because hip firing is really the go-to in Tarkov. And mash those things all together, replace the parts on the gun, just make sure that you don't take out the gas block, you want to only replace the grip, otherwise the weapon will turn red. Also remove this iron sight thingy if you want to replace the dust cover, and there you go, you have a modded gun with a sight. But if you thought the AKS recoil was bad, then take a look at this. Let's say a person is as big as one of those blocks. As you can see, the recoil, well, you're not gonna hit the person. So you really have to control the gun, pull the mouse down a bit, and it's pretty hard to do, but so make a couple of offline raids to get used to it. So that's the AKM, pretty cool that you can mod it, just the recoil is pretty heavy, so you have to practice a bit. Then we have the PPSH. It's a really fast SMG, which is pretty cool, but the bullets are bad. And the muzzle flash is so bright that you don't see your target most of the time. I think it's not a good starting weapon. One of my favorites though is the PP19. You can trade it for 4 T-shaped blocks, which you should find from time to time. They can shoot different bullets. From Peacekeeper you get the PSD GZH, which is the best bullet for the gun at level 1. Or get the PSO from Prapor, but you're not gonna penetrate any armor with that bullet. Now the PP19 has a side mount, which lets you put on sights. For example, a scope, even for range, but on a SMG, probably not the first choice. But you can take the Cobra again, and there you go, for 10,000 you have a sight on top of your gun. The recoil is manageable and it's one of my absolute favorite guns because it makes landing headshots pretty easy. Then we have the all-famous Loud Stick. The Mosin is a bolt action rifle, which is pretty costly for almost 50,000, but the bullets are amazing at the start. They are gonna penetrate every level 4 armor right away. But with this rifle you really have to land your shots because the opponent usually have full auto and they're not giving you that much time. But it can be one of the most amazing things if you find another player with a Mosin and start this kinda dancing battle. So that's it from Prapor, let's move to Skier. Then we have the AKM VPO, which is basically an SKS with a magazine. I don't really recommend it, especially not at the beginning. Then we have the Tots, and I made a video on why you should play the Tots. If you're curious, go check it out, as I think as a beginner I would not recommend it. Then we have the Saiga 9. It's basically just a semi-automatic SMG-19. But on a little side note here, you first have to complete the supplier mission from Skier that unlocks the Saiga 9. And this is also one of my favorites because it's really easy to land headshots because this gun doesn't understand what recoil means. Look at this, I'm not controlling the recoil. I'm letting it fly and it still hits pretty much every bullet. It uses the same bullets as the SMG-19. It's a bit cheaper, you can't mount a sight on it, that's the disadvantage here. But it's a really cheap gun and after a bit of getting used to, I promise you could fall in love with this gun. Then we have the Rdar, which is basically the same as the Saiga 9, a semi-automatic rifle with a bit better bullets but more recoil, but it got nerfed recently. It's very expensive now and I think for almost 50,000 that's not even worth it. And I mean, look at the flea market community seems to agree with that because nobody charges 50,000 for this gun. But at the beginning you only have to trade it, so sadly skip. That's it from Skier, now to Peacekeeper. Then we have another favorite and this is the MP5. It's basically an SMG-19 with higher RPM, rounds per minute. Uses the same bullets, but it can't be bought, you have to trade it for 8 knives. And same as the SMG-19, you can mount a sight on it, you just need the MFIHK mount. Yeah, what an amazing and easy to memorize product name. Then on top of that you can, for example, place the Cobra again. And same as the PP19, I'm still using this gun to date, and I think in the budget range it's same as the SMG-19, one of the best SMGs in the game. And in order to get the knives, there's a little trick you can do, just remove your own knife from your character, and now whenever you kill a scav you can just pick his knife, and even if you die it remains in your inventory, so eventually you get the 8 knives full. So then we land at Mechanic. And here the guns he has are really amazing if you have the things for the trades. So I'd say if you have the items and you don't need them for trades yourselves or for the hideout or whatever, then why not? Give it a try. The weapons he has, they can really dish out a lot. So now to the topic of other ways to get gear in general. It's always a good idea to make some scav rounds between your PMC runs, especially if you're short on gear or money. Now when you start as a scav you get random gear. Now you could just run to the exit and extract, this way you get the gear that your scav spawned with for your next PMC round, or you stay in raid and try to loot or find some things that you could use as your PMC or for your hideout or whatever. The main goal at the beginning shouldn't be to just kill everybody on the server. Be a bit more careful. Your goal here is to just get gear for your PMC at the beginning until you reach level 10. If you're interested, I also made a very detailed video on how you can level way faster even if you don't like fighting. There are other ways to increase the amount of XP you gain from raid by a significant amount. So if you're interested, check it out. Link in the description or the kind of link box up top. Otherwise, this is it from this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. If you did, smash the thumbs up. Give me your feedback in the comment section. Subscribe for more. And I'll see you all in the next video, guys. Bye bye.